Indeed, Mr. President and my dear colleagues, the committee's recommendation, based on the above findings, the committee recommends that the Senate do approve the President's request for a total facility for various projects and programs under 25-26 external borrowing plans comprising of $21 billion, $890,647,912, and $2,193,856,324.4 euro. $15 billion Japanese yen and a grant of 65 million euro respectively. Based on both on the above findings, the committee recommends that the Senate do approve the President's request for the issuance of federal government bonds in the domestic debt market by DMO to the tune of 757 billion 983,146,571 naira. Settle outstanding pension liabilities under contributory pension scheme CPS at December 2023. Three, the Senate do approve the President's request for capital rising of up to $2 billion through the establishment of foreign currency denominated financial instrument issuance program in the domestic debt market by DMO toward the implementation of the Presidential Executive Order number 16 of 2023.
The budget 2025 implementation cannot commence in full. That is, the revenue of the government combined with the borrowing plan of the federal government, we now have all sources of revenue to fund the 2025 budget in place by this singular action of passing the borrowing plan of the federal government into law this afternoon. Once again, I want to commend the Committee on Foreign and Local Debt for a job well done and for also ensuring that the full implementation of 2025 Appropriation Act can commence. Once again, Mr. President, distinguished colleague, I so submit. Thank you.
Yes, I do, because I was part of the committee that considered this. And I looked through the schedule of the things to be done with this money. I saw provisions made that all the 36 states of the Federation will benefit from in various interventions the government proposed. But most interestingly to me, Mr. President, for the first time, I have seen an elaborate provision made for money to be borrowed to build the Eastern Rail Line from Port Harcourt to Maiduguri. A provision that was put in the budget, $3 billion. I didn't need to look at any other thing to support this borrowing plan. Yes, because I've been on this chamber clamoring through motions that Eastern Rail Line corridor from Port Harcourt to Maiduguri should be reconstructed. Now, $3 billion have been provided for it. So this accords to the needs and desires of people who use that rail line.
This has to do with our collective inheritance. This is a loan that my generation and generation yet unborn will be saddled to payment or to pay. Yes, this is a proposed payment plan, borrowing plan, but in this document, there is no indication of how these loans will be paid. That is one. Secondly, if you look at the committee's report, on page 3, number 1, that the loan shall specify the purpose of which the borrowing is intended, which shall only be a long-term capital expenditure and human capital development. Going further on page 8, Mr. President, you will now take number 5 under the table. Most NGOs are unable to implement their capital projects effectively due to long delays in funding disbursement. The launch will go a long way to addressing this challenge. Inclusion of this project in the National External Borrowing Plan will enable financial closure and timely implementation. This is not specified. Which MDS and how much does each one cost? Open page 9. Number 8. Part of the loans will be used to fund priority projects such as railways, security, agriculture, power plants, housing, and digital connectivity to boost production. Mr. President, this needs specification.
Now, recommendation. Based on above findings, the committee recommends that the Senate do approve the President's request for capital raising up to $2 billion through the establishment of a foreign currency dominated financial instrument issuance program in the domestic debt market by the DMO toward the implementation of the Presidential Executive Order number 16 of 2023. Those in favor of the recommendation say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.